Out of the ashes you will rise. I can say that if you feel sad, lost, depressed, if your health is suffering, finances are in the gutter, social life, you're lonely, can't find it, can't find people that you want to spend time around, depression, if you're in a fog all day, can't find that happiness that everybody sees. Out of the ashes, you will rise. And that's it. That's at the end of the day, the quickest summary. You can look through and read books. I've read books by philosophers and historians trying to find the purpose of life. Well, as far as I can tell, no one knows exactly the purpose of life, but what we do know is that you will be tested and you can rise above the tests. The ashes represent the nothingness, everything that you thought you had burnt down, and then you rebuild, and you rebuild better. And that's the faith, hope that you must have. And if you look through history, the greatest people in the world, whether it's Martin Luther King Jr. or Mahatma Gandhi or Nelson Mandela, think about Nelson Mandela, spent 25 years in a prison unjustly, comes out of it, everything burnt to the ground, all of his hopes and dreams, his career, he lost 25 years of his life, but out of it he rebuilds, out of the ashes, something better, gets rid of apartheid, leads the fight to get rid of apartheid in South Africa, wins a Nobel Peace Prize, changes the world. Now you and I don't know if we'll get in the history books, but maybe we get in somebody's history book. Maybe it's a friend, child, a neighbor, someone we don't know. Like I said, I can't tell you. There's tremendous philosophies have been put forward as to what the purpose of life is. Some people are nihilistic. They say there's no purpose to life. Well, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman. If you start a business and then decide there's no purpose to it, it will fail. The self-fulfilling prophecy will happen. The downward spiral will be created if you say, I won't rise above the ashes. That the fact that I'm sad, lost, and depressed now has doomed me for the future. Well, then you've done what you've done. They say faith is the belief in something you haven't yet seen. This is what all those great people had. Martin Luther King Jr. said, I have a dream. Black children and white children, holding hands, going to school together. That happens right now. But it didn't happen then. In the 60s, he saw ahead. He saw what other people couldn't see. He had the faith to see what could be built out of the ashes of an unjust society at that time. What's wrong in your life? Each of us have our cross to bear. Health, wealth, love, happiness. Each of these 4 goals, these 4 obstacles for many, stand before us the day you're born. Health. Can you stay alive? Can you stay healthy? 80% of people in America overweight, losing the battle against that. Things being burnt to the ashes, people not rising above, people giving up. As Thoreau said, the mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. What's called resignation is confirmed desperation. People give up there. Wealth, finance. You have to be able to provide for yourself and your family financially. The average person, when they're 16, they got big plans, how much money they're going to make, how they're going to have financial independence and be able to travel and have fun and enjoy the things that they need and not have to worry about the bills every month. But we live in a world where I read India, 40 million kids still starving. 40 million. That's a lot. That's New York City and LA and more. Out of the ashes, how do we rebuild that? It can be rebuilt. Love, social life, emotions, family, connections to friends, family, romance. Many of us, you might feel lonely. You burnt down to the ashes. Somebody you dated, married, somebody you wanted to date or marry. Friends that you thought were your friends that betrayed you. Boom, burns down to the ground. Business partner betrays you. Someone steals from you. A family member that you thought had your best interest at heart turns out to have been not such a good player in your life, taking advantage of you. That third pillar, social, might be burnt to the ground right now while you're watching this video. The last pillar, the ultimate pillar, health, wealth, love, happiness. You wake up with a fog of depression and darkness over your mind, can't find clarity, can't find peace within yourself. Maybe it's something you've done, maybe you failed, and maybe your brain recognizes that and so it punishes you. Maybe you missed an opportunity. Maybe you're the one who messed up the social life and now you regret it. You regret losing someone, betraying someone, breaking up with someone, divorcing someone. So that fog has burnt down your happiness down to the ashes, down to the ground, and you feel you have nothing. You can rise above. People do it every day, and some people don't. And what separates the people who do from the people who don't? Well, I think it's a few things. I'm no absolute expert on finding your purpose, but I've spent a good bit of my life trying to figure out my purpose, studying mentors who understood, at some level, their purpose. And you know what they told me? One of the best things someone ever told me was my second mentor. His name was Alan Nation. He said, "Tai, you know what the definition of an entrepreneur is?" Woo. The universe, my tripod popped out. Maybe it's a sign. Sign for big moment. Nah, he said to me, "Tai, definition of an entrepreneur is somebody who remakes the world in their own image." I was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, most people give up. Most people, society pushes on them their version of life. You see it in careers. People have a job they don't like. But somebody somewhere at that company is making money. That's why that company exists. So there's people working in mindless jobs, in a cubicle, in a job that they hate, in a dead-end job. And why do they do it? Because they're fulfilling somebody else's dream. Somebody has mind control over them. I'm not saying it's wrong to work for other people. Not everybody has to be an entrepreneur. But you have to feel like you have a purpose in your job. Or what's the point? Mind control. Bah, you see that. Now, what he was saying to me, well, the message he was trying to convey to me is that some people remake the world in their own image. What did he mean? I said. Alan Nation said, well, it's the image you have in your head of how things should be. And then it clicked. What he was saying is, you must be a creator. Now, if you're religious, I'm not talking about taking the place of God. But you have to create the life that you want out of the ashes. And the one beauty of the ashes, there's one beautiful thing about the ashes. When everything's burnt to the ground, when you're sad, lost, and depressed, and everything's at rock bottom, you get to rebuild from scratch. Meaning, you get to rebuild the exact and precise way you want the damn thing rebuilt. Let's say there's a house. You don't really like the house. You live in the house. It's kind of good, kind of not good. Well, it's a bitch to remodel an existing house because the structure's all built one way. If you want to change it the other way, sometimes people just knock the whole thing down. And if you're sad, lost, and depressed, it's been knocked down for you. So you could see it as a favor to you. The world's done you a favor. I know that sounds like a stretch, but it's not a stretch. You hate your job. You're sad, lost, and depressed in the second pillar of the good life, health, wealth, your finance. Well, now's your chance. Go knock it out of the park. Go work at a place that you want to work at. Go start a business that you want. If you're already making $0 or you're making $0 in a way that you like, you can't go below zero. Guess you can go in debt. But I'm counting debt as zero. Can't get much worse. Take a month, try something. Start a little side business. Rebuild out of the ashes. You've been dumped. You broke up with somebody. You're sad. I bet that relationship wasn't perfect. So now you've been granted an opportunity. The opportunity is to look back at the past relationships, the past people you dated or married, and go, what did I like? What did I not like? Now I will recreate a new relationship in the image of what I liked, and I'll leave the rest. Keep the best, leave the rest. If you had a business partner stole money from you, well, that business partnership is over. So now for the rest of your days, the rest of the days you have on planet Earth, you have an edge on everybody else. You already know what doesn't work, so you now